You will never find the right one if you keep going like this. The only way to find the right woman is to expect more from life. It's to raise your standards. You don't even realize that you've been tolerating subpar results in your dating and your relationship life. Let this video be a wake-up call. You've demanded a lot from life. You've demanded a lot from yourself in certain areas in your life. But for some reason, when it comes to your dating and your relationship life, you're okay with shitty dates. You're okay with relationships or marriages that don't seem to be going anywhere. You're okay with making love to yourself and falling asleep alone every single night or waking up to the next to the wrong person, somebody who isn't even right for you. Why are you okay with that? The only way to get what you truly want from your relationship life is to demand more. Tony Robbins tells this story. He's probably the biggest life coach, business coach, if you will, in the world, where when he was young and he started teaching seminars, at the end, at 1 a.m. in the morning, he's walking through the street somewhere in California, I don't know where, and he's hyped, and there's a homeless person asking him for money, and he's asking him for a quarter. He says, "Excuse me, sir, could you lend me a quarter?" And he says, "Are you sure you only want a quarter?" He says, "Yeah, all I need is a quarter." And Tony opens his wallet, he makes sure he sees all of the money, and he says, "I'm gonna give him the money, but I also want to teach him a lesson." And as he hands in the quarter, he says, "Life will pay whatever price you ask of it." And isn't that so true? You've just settled for really average results at best in so many areas. The only way to be truly fulfilled is to self-actualize. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You gotta self-actualize. You gotta pursue the next greatest level. Why? Because we have an inherent need for growth. And if you're an achiever, if you're a man who's doing well in any area, you've exceeded, you're doing really well in your career, your business, maybe your health, maybe some hobby. If you define yourself as somebody who's an achiever, and then you settle in some area far below for what you're capable of, especially in the most important one in your entire life, when it comes to the selection of the right girlfriend or wife, you know that you've cheated yourself. You can BS other people. You can tell people that you're doing great regarding your dates. It was fantastic. You can't BS yourself. You can lie to other people, but you know the truth. You know you've settled. And the only way to aim higher, yes, it's to visualize. Yes, it's to write down your must-haves, your nice-to-haves, your deal-breakers, to imagine a future with a woman you're truly excited to be with. Yes, it is to demand more from life. But that, equivocally, comes with the responsibility of demanding more from yourself. You can't just have a high goal without being willing to put in the work. And most men greatly underestimate the volume it takes. It will take a lot more quality first dates to find the right one. It'll take a lot more online dating activity, Instagram activity, in-person approaches, whichever channel you want to use to get quality dates. It will take a lot more work than you thought. If you think you can just go on 3 or 4 dates and number 3 is going to be your wife, you are gravely mistaken. If you hire somebody for a position, if you're a business owner or a manager, for example, you don't just take the first candidate, no matter how convincing their CV may be. You put them through a rigorous interview process and you interview 20 people alongside them to find the person who's best suited for the job. Because how many times have you had somebody where you thought, okay, the person is great, then you interview 7 more people and you realize lady or dude number 7 is way more suited for the job. And if you would have committed yourself to the first person, you would have missed out on such an amazing candidate. In other words, a level of compatibility that would have been a lot higher. And the number one determinant for long-term relationship success is compatibility. You have to be willing to do the work. To work on your communication, your confidence, and to actually get out there. If you just go gym and work, and maybe the odd social occasion, where on earth are you supposed to find a wife you're truly compatible with? It's not going to work. You have to demand more from yourself. And yes, it's going to require maybe updating your outfits or getting really good pictures taken, writing a good bio on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, getting a referral to Raya, for example, going out there doing in-person approaches, overcoming your fear of approaches, working your communication skills, stop being such a boring storyteller and flatlining and boring her with 3-4 questions, running out of things to say. You gotta work on yourself. You can demand a lot from life, but you also have to work on yourself. But here's the beautiful thing. It doesn't even take that much time. If you sleep 8 hours a night, this whole thing takes 5 to 8 hours per week. That's it. 4 to 7% of your waking time. Can you dedicate 4 to 7% of your waking hours to this project, to finding the right girlfriend or wife? If you can't, if you say you don't have the time, you're BSing me and you're BSing yourself. If you can't make that time, it's simply not important enough for you, or what's probably more likely is you have conflicting values. On the one hand, you want to feel loved. On the other hand, you really don't want to get rejected. Let me tell you something about rejection. The only reason you're afraid of rejection is because you haven't gotten enough. If you were to get rejected a lot more, it wouldn't hurt anymore. You'd be totally numb to it. It doesn't faze you. Your brain thinks you're going to die when you get a rejection. That's it. You get rejected a lot more? Easy. Now, if I were to ask you to get rejected by a lady who's a 9 out of 10 in looks, you probably won't even be able to introduce yourself, and that's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not your fault. Nobody's told you that you might have to introduce yourself to somebody first who's a 2 out of 10. Have you watched Lord of the Rings? You know Gollum? If you met somebody who looks like Gollum, how nervous would you be to introduce yourself? Not at all or very little. Now, Gollum doesn't have a lot of hair left, but you could walk up to Gollum and say, "Hey, Gollum, hey, what's up, bro? How's the Precious doing? By the way, the last bit of hair that you have on you looks kind of nice." Gollum feels great, you know? Everybody's happy. And I'm joking. I'm not actually calling somebody a Gollum, but there's people that you personally, subjectively find a lot less attractive than others. You can progressively desensitize yourself to the threatening stimulus called the rejection. But demanding more from life, aiming high as opposed to aiming low, also comes with the responsibility of doing the work and blocking time in your calendar, 15 minutes a day, for online dating. Time on the weekend to go and socialize, 1 or 2 dates a week. And then reflecting, and then getting feedback. Doesn't have to be me, it can be somebody. On your communicative blind spots that you do have on the date. That's why you're getting the text saying, "I didn't really feel the spark, we're better off as friends, I'm so busy, I should focus on myself," what have you. She met you for a date, and then she didn't want to meet you for a second or third date, which means she lost interest in you. Again, there's nothing wrong with you, but you haven't demanded the most from yourself, which means working on your communication skills. This world, look around. It is absolutely abundant. You will never run out of options. You can get rejected literally a million times. And there'll be millions of more women who could be right for you. Percentage-wise, low total amounts, still great, for sure. But the only thing you're losing is time. How much more time do you want to let pass? How many more years do you want to keep waking up to the next people, waking up alone, having a subpar experience of life? The number one determinant for happiness in this life is human relationships. Yes, take care of your health. Yes, take care of your finances. Yes, all these other areas do matter for sure. But you all know that, or you know that there were times in your life where you maybe didn't have money and you spent time with some really quality friends and you were just super happy even though you didn't have anything. Quality male friendships. Get more of that. Find an amazing woman. Life has so much to offer. Les Brown says, most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss, but it's because they aim too low and hit. Now, why haven't you aimed higher? Because nobody's told you this. Hello? Aim higher, bro. Nobody has encouraged you to aim higher. This is the encouragement. And you could blame external circumstances. You haven't demanded it from yourself. But it's more an external thing. The systems, the people we spend time with dictate our standards to a large extent. Spend time with 4 losers, you'll become number 5. Spend time with 4 or 5 people long enough that do alcohol and drugs, you'll be tempted eventually. Now, if you're very grounded in your convictions, you may not, but it'll definitely have an influence. If you spend time around people who are really positive, you become a positive. If you listen to a lot of stand-up comedy, you'll become more funny and lighthearted and you'll feel happier. There's this guy who wrote the book Solve for Happy or the Happiness Equation or something like this. I believe a former Google employee, genius, amazing guy. I don't remember his name or the title of the book, but it's something like Solve for Happy or the Happiness Equation. And he talks about the fact that for 20 years or something like this, don't quote me on the exact numbers, he hasn't watched a horror movie and he hasn't had a nightmare in 20 years. Input equals output. You have to monitor what you feed your mind with so carefully because your thoughts will lead to your actions and your actions will lead to results. And your brain, left to its own devices, will always look for what's wrong. Your brain will always look for reasons as to why you're insufficient. And then you'll have this overthinking going on inside of you, the self-defeating dialogue, these heavy emotions. You need to feed your mind with positivity every single day. You need to spend time with people like me in a virtual environment, like me in reality, or other people who have a really high standard for themselves in this area. Unfortunately, most men do not have this figured out. Most men are not in happy and fulfilling relationships. I would argue actually very few are. I believe everybody could if they put in the work. If you're a kind, caring, intelligent man who's hardworking, you absolutely can make it happen. But you have to assume the responsibility and you have to stop waiting for chance. If you just think, I'm just going to be myself and the right one will find me. Where? If that was the case, it would have already happened. Are you going to bet your genetic legacy, your future family, your happiness, one of the biggest purposes of life, on the chance that you'll run into her in Starbucks in 2.5 years? What if you go to the bathroom the exact moment your wife is there? Yeah, but David, didn't you talk about abundance? Yeah, if you don't have enough initial interaction points, I was about to start yelling at you in German there. If you don't have enough initial interaction points, where's she supposed to come from? In the previous video we filmed an hour ago, I don't know when it's going to be uploaded, or maybe it's already live on this YouTube channel, we talked about disqualifying the wrong people. Yes, you have to disqualify most people very quickly. Not because they're bad people, but simply because they're not right for you. But in order to do that, you need a lot of quality options. Take more action, motherfucker! Wake up! Wake up! Oh, wow, that was loud. That was an echo. I heard that 3 mountains further down. That was epic, huh? Pretty awesome place here. Wake up! I just woke up all the neighbors. All the dudes here waking up to their wives that they don't actually like. They're like, oh, did you say wake up? And they're like, Stephanie! Damn it, Sam, we're out right for one another. Jokes aside, I got a lot of sun today. Bit hyped here. And it's something that I really care about because I was married to a woman who wasn't right for me. I went through so much pain. I'm not just doing dating coaching because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Me and the clients, we have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with these videos. I hope you're enjoying them as well. Maybe it's a little bit eccentric having a ginger yell at you in a camera like that. I get it. It is fun, but it's not just fun. I also take it very serious because I went through so much suffering with her. Not because she's a bad person, but because I didn't communicate my needs. I wasn't honest enough. If I were to meet her right now, the conversation were to go no longer than a minute or two, and she'd get offended by my very existence, or we'd realize, hey, we're not right for one another, and we can respectfully shake hands and walk separate ways and wish each other all the best, but not make each other a wife and husband. That might not be the best idea. If you don't aim high, if you don't find somebody you're compatible with, you will settle. Because the worst thing for us as human beings is being alone. So you will settle for something, for a 5 out of 10 level compatibility, for example. And that's just not great. The enemy of the great is the good or the okay. And good is good. Good is good. Hey, to be honest, listen, just ignore everything I just said. And just settle for good. Why not just aim for good? Good's good. Yeah, you can watch some adult videos every once in a while. She doesn't want to make love to you, doesn't matter. Make love to yourself. Your hand is a 7, right? It's not a big problem. No need for that much effort. Why go through so much effort? Why would I invest 4 to 7% of my waking time if I could just watch some more Netflix, watch Billions? Well, Billions is a good TV show. That's not who you are, is it? You're an achiever. Aim high. Back it up with the work. And the world has so much to offer you. But now here's the last component. You need structures and systems. You need to block the time in your calendar to actually do the thing. Because if you hit the weekly KPIs, key performance indicators, if you do the things, the results follow. Time for socializing, time for dating apps, time for revision and feedback, and actually doing a couple of exercises to improve your communication skills. You do that, you will be able to find an amazing wife. If other men have done so, you will be able to do the same. If you're a man who's doing well in your career or your business and you'd like me to help you personally to find the right girlfriend or wife, click the link below. Right now, make a change, click it, and apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.